I'm Emma Milne. Should we see abortion as a luxury or as a necessity for women? I very much take the view that we need to see it as a necessity, and here is why. Firstly, as we've seen through the pandemic, as we've seen in Texas recently, and as we've seen in countries such as Poland, and previously we've seen in countries such as Ireland and in Northern Ireland, abortion has been restricted and continues to be restricted for many women. We also saw this during COVID. So when the COVID pandemic broke out, even here in England, abortion was limited and restricted due to women not being able to travel to clinics. This had a significant and very worrying impact on women's ability to access abortion. We need to think of abortion as healthcare. It's an essential aspect and part of women's ability to regulate their own health and their own well-being. It is one of the most common gynecological procedures that any woman will go through. So worldwide, 1 in 4 women will have an abortion at least once in her lifetime. And here in England and Wales, that number is more likely to be closer to 1/3. So as I say, this is one of the most common gynecological procedures any woman will experience. If we stop seeing it as healthcare and start seeing it as something else, the consequences for women are quite dramatic. As I've mentioned in previous videos, the consequence of illegal abortion, so preventing women from accessing abortion, is not that women don't access abortions. It's that women have to go to extreme lengths in order to access abortions. So for women who have greater financial resources, they will travel further, they will take steps in order to access abortion in other countries or other states. So for example, in Poland, the women who can afford to will travel to Germany and to other countries that border Poland. It's same in Ireland. So before Ireland made abortion much more widely available, women who could afford it would travel to England, Scotland and Wales in order to access abortion. In Texas, I imagine what we will see is women who have the ability, the time, the finances, the means in order to be able to travel will go to neighbouring states in order to get their abortions. It's poorer women who don't have those sorts of financial resources, women who perhaps have childcare responsibilities and they can't leave their children with other people in order to be able to travel, women who can't get the time off work and they're scared that if they take time off work they'll lose their jobs, women who simply don't have the money in order to be able to travel to a different location to access abortion. It's those women who will go to the lengths that are most likely to result in them suffering extreme injury or possibly death. As I've said previously, when you criminalise abortion, you don't stop abortion, you just stop abortion being safe. You increase the likelihood that a woman is going to cause herself either considerable harm using dangerous drugs and dangerous means. Potentially in the past we've seen women use mechanisms such as coat hangers, bleach, really, really unpleasant ways in order to end her pregnancy. This is what, unfortunately, poorer women end up relying on because they can't find any other mechanism in order to end their pregnancy. So what we do is we don't stop abortion by making abortion difficult to access. Instead, what we do is we make this healthcare incredibly difficult for women to access, and therefore they take steps that are unsafe and incredibly unhealthy for them. So really, it can't be stressed enough, and I know there's arguments that are made often that whilst this might be women's healthcare, this is a fetus's life. The question of fetal life is a complex one and one that I'd like to come back to in future videos. But I think we really need to reflect on the fact that women are here, women are in this world. They're considered equal. People keep telling us that women are equal to men. And yet, the most required healthcare that we need as women, the access to abortion, the ability to control and regulate our own bodies, to control and regulate what happens if after we have sex, we end up becoming pregnant. If that is being regulated and controlled in a way that is not providing us with our equality and our freedom, I think there's a real question here is what does this mean for women's rights and what does it mean for the respect that is supposedly given to women as if we are equal to men? On this basis, I would argue abortion is not a luxury. It is in fact essential for women. It's a necessity, and it's something that needs to continue to be free, to be safe, to be accessible, and to be respected. Women's choices about their own bodies need to be respected.